Good morning. I may have been talking and my mic may have been muted. So I'm going to try it all over again. Hi, my name is Keith. Welcome. Running a little late this morning. A couple of minutes, but we're off to the races. Ready to get this week started. It is March 10th at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Even though we sprang forward over the weekend, maybe I could use that as an excuse as to why I'm running a little late. Maybe not, probably not, but never know. My name is Keith, and I am a professional developer, a programmer who has made a career of mostly web development, but currently I'm helping other people upskill and get into the career. I'm managing a coding school in Austin, Texas, and I created the stream as a place to come hang out for people who are graduated, who are laid off, who are looking for work in the tech industry, as a place to hang out while you're getting out those job applications. Just your daily check-in. Get up, get some caffeine in you, and get those job apps out. Through the stream, what I do is I look at job trends and then look at some stuff that's in the news. This is a little different of a week because it is South by Southwest week in Austin, Texas, meaning there's a big tech conference going on. Really kicked off last week, but it is going with earnest this week. So for the next 4 or 5 days, I'm going to be just doing a 30-minute stream, not a full hour. Typically I go 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, but not this week. This week's a little different scheduling, as it were. If you are going to South by Southwest, you might want to use this free app that I created to help you find all the local events that are going around town. I have over 230 events in here for the whole 10 days, and you have this fun little filtering system, so I can say, hey, what are only the things that are going on today on the 10th? I've got them laid out here on a timeline, but I also got them on a map. Any one of these guys you can kind of click into and get some information about. Click on it to get a map to how close you are to it. And over the weekend I also added a favorites feature. You can now favorite a thing and then filter only by your favorites. So want to check that out. It's a very useful tool. Share it with your friends and your neighbors. Okay, let's get to it. I checked job postings every day. I was up yesterday, bright and early. I've been doing it for over 300 days. It'll be 3 years by the time we hit the fall. So that gives me a good sense of the trend line of where things are going in our industry in terms of the number of new jobs posted. My focus is on JavaScript developers because that's a good thumbnail of where the web industry is. It's been a mixed bag. So in the last 7 days, there's just the slightest tick down. Last week, there was just the slightest tick up. There's always some variation in this. It's not uncommon for that kind of variation. But if we look at the last 6 months, there's been an upward trend there. If you look at the last year, there's been a downward trend there. So again, mixed bag. But if you do look at the last 2 months, it's been pretty flat. But if you look at before the holidays, it was also very flat, but less. So, again, It's a little easier today to find a job than it was, 6 months ago for sure. Um, 6 months ago, it was at the low, maybe the all-time low, as a matter of fact. So we'll take the wins where we can. Um, I do break that down a little bit more. So these graphs show all JavaScript jobs in the United States and the remote ones. Again, it's been pretty flat for a while, for 6 weeks, 7 weeks. But uh, the trend line is pointing in the up direction, and we'd definitely like to see that. And I've broken it down by entry-level, mid-level, and senior-level developers. And we'll see again that the numbers are up and to the left, but not drastically. And while there's some variation in there, it's been pretty flat. Pretty flat, I will say. Alright, let's look at the news. I'm on LinkedIn. Please connect with me if you have not. Feel free to reach out. And one of the things that's good about LinkedIn is they've got a number of news stories in their news feed that tend to be pertinent to what we do here. Let's see what we got here. Numbers to watch this week. Always a good one to check out on Monday to see where the business world is putting their focus. Foxconn's got an LLM. Everybody's got to get their own LLM. I've downloaded and installed it, Llama, locally. But when am I going to get to train my own LLM? When? I haven't done it yet. Burnout costs U.S. employers millions. Burnout costs U.S. employers millions. How AI is disrupting tech hiring. Well, that seems pertinent. Let's see what we got here. Inflation returns center stage this week with a key price index expected to give mixed reading. U.S. Consumer Price Index is forecast to have risen in annual 2.8. 2.8% in February, down from 3% increase, according to the Inflation Nowcast. But excluding volatile items such as fuel prices are expected to have picked up last month. Continued downward progress is regularly cited by the Federal Reserve as a precondition for returning to interest rate cuts that they began last year. Generally speaking, cuts are good for our industry. It frees up money, rate cuts, that can be used to grow. We were heading in that direction. That was a good thing. Everything kind of flattened out this year. But hopefully we'll get more rate cuts coming in the future. Okay. Overworked employees can cost employers millions of dollars, according to a new study published by the American Journal of Preventative Medicine. The study found that employee burnout costs American businesses between $4,000 to $21,000 per worker annually in lost productivity and turnover. Additionally, employee disengagement can cost 3.3 to 17.1 times the expense of training per worker. Suggested interventions to reduce risks include mental health benefits and properly managed workloads. We talk about this a bunch in the tech space, and I talk about it in reference to, how it's different to get a job as a programmer compared to getting a job in food service or in hotel management or whatever it is, right? Um, and it has to do with the fact that there is an onboarding cost, right? Even if I know, even if I'm an expert, I'm a senior dev in your exact stack. So I know your front end language, I know your back end language. You're using Bootstrap, and I know Bootstrap. Like, if you've got, you're using React, and I know React. Um, Once you say yes, congratulations. Here's your first day. Here's your computer. Sit down. You know that there's a cost to get that individual up to speed on your system, like all of your custom code, all your proprietary code. That is not just frameworks. That's not just you know SQL. You have to they have to understand how you've organized how your machine works, right? That you've built. It is a custom piece of machinery, right? And as a result, we go through 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds of interviews before we're offered a job, right? They want to make sure that they're making a good hire because, again, they know they're paying you a lot of money, they're giving you lots of benefits typically, but also you're not going to be super productive for 4 to 6 months in some instances, right? Um, Even if you're again well versed in the work, right? Uh, and to lose you, I went to work for a company. They had a 2 week onboarding process where we didn't get a computer, we didn't get to look at the code. They just exposed us to the whole business. We showed up every morning with their kind of new onboarding class, and the onboarding was not just programmers, but it was just whoever was hired that week. There might be office managers and a bunch of stuff, and there'd be a group of 7 or 8 people that got hired in the last week, and we all showed up, and they gave us presentations about what their business is and how the industry works, and walked us around every day to different divisions and introduced them to different people, so we knew every aspect of the business. And then at the end of the week, they made an offer. I don't remember what it was. It was like a $2,000 or $3,000 to just go away. Like you've learned everything about the business, and if you have any doubts about whether this is a good place for you, just we'll write you a check right now. Go away, because now is where it gets really expensive. If you say yes, I want this job, and you take this position, and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, the company's going to lose a lot of money. And uh, so tech has sort of dealt with the cost of a worker and turnover for a long time. This article is more talking about overworking employees, and of course, when there's a big layoff, the work does not increase. The work does not increase. I mean, it decrease. It does not decrease when there's a layoff. The same amount of work has to be done by less people, and those less people are going to be, you can say they weren't as efficient as they were, but in a best case scenario, you did, lay off the unnecessary people, quote unquote. Those unnecessary people were still doing something. Um, and that work has to be done by somebody else. Um, so yeah, there are long-term effects to these kind of mass layoffs that we've been seeing for the last 18 months. And, some of them are coming home to roost right now. Coming home to roost. You also tend to get a reputation. People talk about the way you run your business. Coders are increasingly turning to AI to cheat during remote job interviews. I saw this story. Once restricted demonstrating their skills on dry erase boards. Candidates are now utilizing AI assistance off camera to write code, provide code improvements, and generate detailed explanations of results in virtual interviews. The cheating has become so pervasive that companies like Google are considering bringing back in-person interviews as a way to combat it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, there was a celebrated story last week. I think it was Amazon. Uh, got a lot of traction. A candidate went through. He was out of school, out of college, so he didn't have any work history per se, but he had gone to a decent college. I forget which one, and was in the interview process. It was virtual. They did a coding thing. He recorded the whole thing, and he used an LLM to cheat through the process. He recorded the whole thing, and then he posted it to YouTube, which got him a lot of views and a rescinded offer and um, a bunch of complaints by Amazon that he was a cheater. But in reality, he was cheating to make a point. He didn't, it's not like he thought, oh, I'm going to cheat, record this, post it to YouTube, and nobody will find out ever. He knew that was the plan. So he was just winding you up with your dumb hiring practices. Yeah, it's going to be more challenging. But at the same time, all these big companies are the ones saying, hey, we're letting go of people because our employees are more effective and efficient with AI by their side. So come on, you can't say on one hand that the game has changed, but on the other hand, you got to come in the traditional way. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Da, 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 da. Which time we got? 9 minutes. Okay, I want to go a couple over because I was a couple of minutes late. Foxconn builds Fox Brain. It's a better name than OpenAI. Fox Brain. For AI-driven manufacturing. Okay. Apple clears the decks with rare early year product frenzy. Yeah, a lot of things going on at South by Southwest. A lot of interesting talks. They release all their keynotes. So I didn't get a badge this year. I didn't go to the conferences, but every year there's probably about a half a dozen to a dozen of the keynotes that they release the same week. The Scott Galloway's always a good one. And I forget the woman from the Future... Amy something, I think it was. It was a really good one. It's always good every year, but this one was particularly good. Check those out on South by Southwest's YouTube channel. The game creator started properly playing the game himself about a week before launch and had a pretty emotional moment where you realize it's actually fun. That's hilarious. We developers, we're so weird. It's like the actress who's like, the movie came out and I finally saw it. I don't like to watch myself on TV, but I finally saw it. Turns out it's a good movie. Like, okay. Just fun. One thing if you're an actress, it's another thing if it's the director saying that. What went wrong at Saudi Arabia's futuristic metropolis in the desert? Sci-Fi Desert City. Neon. Yeah, the big line, the first segment of the line. I've been watching that from far. It's interesting. It's weird. It's futuristic. It's kind of cool. Didn't seem very pie in the sky. Weather was nice over the weekend. Had a really good weekend. Out running around downtown, going to different events. I went to 4 events yesterday. Today's a work day for me, but I'm going to try and hit a couple of events this morning and maybe one in the evening. We'll see. You guys make any South by Southwest events? Throw them in the chat. I'm curious how everybody's weekend went. Nvidia-backed IPO grew 737% last year. Meet the federal worker who went rogue. I hope that it lights a fire under people. Bitcoin falls some more. Texas on Friday passed the Bitcoin reserve bill. The governor still has to sign it. Right when the headlines are all, Bitcoin's falling, the prices are falling. Great timing. The era of cheap 3D printing is ending. What does that mean? Nothing to do with what we do, but I'm an avid 3D printer. I've been 3D printing for many, many years. James Bond will remain British and male, says Amazon. We're not going to rock the boat. We just got this thing. That's all about. I'm a product manager who worked at Uber, Amazon, and Meta. I always advise junior employees to be the dumbest person in the room. To be the dumbest person in the room. Is that shut up and know your place? Is that what that means? I'm not sure. Doge just reportedly started rolling out a custom chatbot to automate some government tasks. Oh, this is going to end well. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Okay, let's wrap it up. Today is March 10th. It is 8:30 a.m. and it's South by Southwest week. Normally I will stream for an hour starting at 8 a.m. But this week, because I need to get downtown to do some events and stuff, I'm cutting it short. Got to beat the traffic as much as possible. It took me 90 minutes to get downtown and parked into an event on Friday night. 90 minutes! Yeah. I do not live out, in another town. I live in Austin, Texas. Okay. Um, but if you are in Austin, Texas, and you want to check out some interesting and free events around town, I created this little app called sxfreesw.com. South by Free Southwest, sxfreesw.com. Please share it with your friends and or neighbors who are partaking in South by Southwest. And we will be back tomorrow in 23 hours and 30 minutes. Have a great day. If you're heading down South by Southwest, ping me. Let me know where you're at. Maybe we can meet up. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great day. Get the